Hello and welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger on November 21st, 2023. I actually can't believe that we haven't done a basic uh, episode on covering the roundhouse kick. I know I did a roundhouse kick episode about a year ago, but that was showing you guys three different styles of roundhouse kick. But we never actually sit down and actually talk about the do's and don'ts of this very basic but very often seen, very commonplace movement. So today we are going to do that. But before we get to that, we are going to hear a message from our sponsor.
Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for people. Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
Alright, so is there someone who don't know what the roundhouse kick is? Probably. I assume most of you know what the roundhouse kick is because it's something that even if you have never trained in it, you never learned how to do it. You've seen it on TV, watching UFC, MMA, even Taekwondo and stuff like that, right? Muay Thai, kickboxing, there's a lot of that. But just in case you don't know, um, roundhouse kick is when you deliver a kick by bringing your leg out to the side and your leg arcs in from the side and basically hit the person's sideline. Usually, depending on what sport you're doing, what fighting style you're doing, you will be aiming for the side of their leg, the front of their leg, the belly, or if you're a silly guy, you go for the head, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get going. But that's basically it's a roundhouse kick. Uh, imagine, uh, imagine if you throw your arm out and you arc your arm in from the side, and you hit your target with your arm coming in from the side, and you do that with your leg. That is a roundhouse kick, right? Okay. That is the most simplified idea of roundhouse kick. Um, and it's one of those moves, like I said, very familiar to most people because most people have seen it done. A lot of you have learned how to do it. But in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the mostly don'ts. What you shouldn't be doing with your roundhouse kick. What you shouldn't be doing when you are trying to do your roundhouse kick. Keep in mind, I'm coming from a Krav Maga self-defense, street fighting kind of uh, background, the scenario. So if you are taught to do a certain way, and you're doing Taekwondo or whatever, or if you're doing something uh, not related to self-defense. If you need to do something to get points, that's completely different. So when I say the don'ts and do's and don'ts, I'm mostly talking about don't do this in the self-defense scenario, in the fighting scenario. Assuming you even kick in the first place. We talked about this in the past episode quite a long time ago about how it is really quite a bad idea to kick in a self-defense situation. But let's say you have really big, strong leg. You know, you think you can do more damage with your kick, and you just want to throw that really cool roundhouse kicking. Then what are some of the do's and don'ts? Number one, don't kick high. Okay, don't kick high. I know that a lot of time in martial arts like taekwondo or karate, there's really no roundhouse kick in karate. But in various style of kickboxing like uh, uh, savate, taekwondo, there's this high roundhouse kick that come in, try to go for the head or chest like that, right? Don't do that, okay? Especially in the self-defense scenario. That high kick is look cool in movies. It's great in movies. Might get you a lot of points in the competition, but in a real fight, in any kind of real fight, including UFC, most likely that's going to get your ass whooped. Because if I go for a kick, I want to keep it below grabbing distance, which means I want to. So when you look at how a human body is, the person, when I drop my arm, my hand most likely reach about here, about the top or middle of my side when I drop my arm, which means, assuming this is a leg, right? Assuming Bruce's arm is a leg, this come in anywhere above that hip line or side line. If my arm is up here, blocking my, guarding my face, anytime this leg go anywhere above my hip, all I have to do is very reflexively, when I get kicked, I drop my arm. Okay, I don't even have to think about it. That's what you do when you get kicked, when you get hit, is your arm come down, and next thing you know, the leg is trapped, right? And next thing you know, you're on the floor. So like I said, while this kind of high arcing kick looks really cool in movies, it's totally pointless in a self-defense scenario, right? There's so many tools you can do to attack the head, to attack the chest. You don't need to use your leg for that. You don't need to run that kind of risk. So don't kick high in a self-defense scenario with the roundhouse kick. Number two, you don't hit with your foot, right? You hit with your shin, the bottom part of your shin. You never hit with your foot. I know in Taekwondo, you are taught, a lot of you in Taekwondo, you are taught to hit with your foot. Why? Because that gives you longer reach, right? In Taekwondo, you also don't kick super hard. I know. Some of you are already saying that I'm talking smack about Taekwondo, but it's real. You look at Taekwondo competition, they never really kick hard. So when you don't kick hard, it is okay to hit with the back of your foot. That's points, 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 right? That's fine. But the moment you start to go in for the kill, you try to hit really hard, like you would in a self-defense scenario, you run the risk of your foot hitting the person's elbow. You run the risk of your foot hitting the person's hip. You run a chance of your foot, even if you get them in the face, the teeth going to mess up your foot, right? So your shin, much harder bone, much harder bone. Okay, foot meet elbow, elbow is going to win. Shin meets elbow, yeah, okay, elbow is still going to win, but the shin is not going to be broken, right? Well, at least it shouldn't be. So when you throw that roundhouse kick, Always think the contact point should be your shin bone, not the back of your foot. You also hyperextend your foot if you hit with the back of your foot, if you kick hard. Right? If I go like this, if I go hard enough, that's going to mess up my ankle. But if I hit it like that, no problem. I'm hitting with my shin, which is one solid piece. Okay, no problem. So don't hit with your foot. Number three, don't trail your leg out like it's some kind of dinosaur tail or like a whip or something, right? Again, that look cool in movies and in competition is great, but a lot of people, especially Taekwondo people, again, sorry if you do Taekwondo, but Taekwondo people a lot of times they'll kick like this. They'll trail their leg out to the side and then they turn, pow, like that, pow, like that. Okay? Don't don't do that. Why? Because if you spin your body, if you twist your body with the leg trailing out like that, you're telegraphing everything you're going to do. Your movement is slow. You need that distance to trail your leg out, which means, okay, if I want to do that kind of a kick, I need to be back here, this far away, like out of arm's reach from my opponent, and pow, like that. Well, that's cool. But in a real fight, that's not going to work because the person can see that coming from a mile away. The proper way to deliver roundhouse kick is to bring your knee up, right? Bring your knee up like you're going to do a knee strike, and then turn your foot out and drop your leg. Up, boom, up, boom, like that. Like that, very short distance. I can be this distant. I can be chest to chest with a person. I can kick from this distance, right? I don't need that big wide gap to do my roundhouse kick. So keep it short. Don't trail your leg out. Next, always have a plan B and hopefully a plan C. Okay? Whenever you go and do that roundhouse kick, don't just automatically assume that you'll get it and the person's going to fall down holding their leg, right? Always have a plan B, plan C. What if you miss and now you're almost back, you're facing the person, huh? What if you kick and then your leg get caught by the person, right? Always have plan B, plan C. Always think what happened if you miss? What happened if you get caught? Okay? Otherwise, when you miss or when you get caught, you're going to be in a very awkward position. So, for example, when I throw my roundhouse kick, I almost, because especially me being blind, I never know if I'm going to connect. So I always assume I'm going to miss. So if I make a connection, great. If I miss, boom, roundhouse, uh, back hammer fist coming right back, right? Kick like that, right? So I have a hammer fist ready to spin back if I miss my kick. If I kick and my leg get caught, I instantly jump forward, grab for the person's head and face with my hands, right? So you need to have a plan like that when you go in for that roundhouse kick. Don't just assume that you're going to be successful. Last but not least, don't charge your roundhouse kick, but don't rush it either. Okay? There are a lot of movement in martial art where either you can be quick, like a jab. That's fine. You don't have to hit super hard because it's quick. That's fine. Okay? There are some moves in martial art like that straight in elbow, boom. That can be slow. It's okay because it's really hard to block. Okay? But roundhouse kick is one of those movements that you need to have a good balance of it hitting fast enough to connect and hard enough to make it count. Okay, so can I do it fast? Yes, I can do it fast, but that doesn't do anything. Okay, if I do it like that, that doesn't do anything. All that does is piss the person off, right? So you need to hold, you need to charge it long enough so you don't rush it, but you don't want to make it too obvious either. So a lot of people, especially in class, when they do roundhouse kick, it's like they'll do this, they'll bounce and they'll throw that. Okay? Yeah, when it's a punching bag, it's not getting out of your way, it's not holding, grabbing your leg, it's fine. But you'll never land that in a fight. Never. Especially if your opponent know a little bit about fighting. You're doing this, okay? Yeah, when you hit, it's going to be hard, but it's not going to connect. You're going to get grabbed, right? So don't rush it, but don't overcharge it either. Um, One of my personal thing to do because my roundhouse kick generally come out, I would say medium fast. Um, so I know I'm not the fastest kicker out there. So what, especially being blind, a lot of time I'll miss. So what I'll do with my roundhouse kick is I'll try to disguise it behind something else. So I'm not going to go into a fight thinking I'm going to start this fight with a roundhouse kick, right? I'm going to go in for jab, 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 cross, sidestep, roundhouse kick. Okay, the moment I sidestep, my roundhouse kick is coming out, right? So since I know my roundhouse kick is not super fast, if I rush it, I'm going to lose power. I use a side stepping motion to charge that roundhouse kick. So when you work your roundhouse kick, always think how can you do this so you come out relatively quickly and have good power. So to recap, don't rush your roundhouse kick, don't overcharge it. It needs to be hard and relatively fast. Okay? Don't kick too high. Don't go above the hip or side level, otherwise you'll get grabbed. Don't hit with your foot, hit with your shin. Always have plan B, plan C in case you miss. Right? It's a very basic kind of movement, but it takes a lot of work to get really good at it. I've been doing martial art for a long time. I still don't consider myself the best at roundhouse kick, but it is so much fun to work on it. And I hope that these few little points and pointers today help you guys out during your training journey.